Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with the Make Maine Your Home team over at Remax Oceanside. In this week's episode, we're going to answer the question, is Maine boring? Spoiler alert, heck no. All right, let's do this. All right, everybody, like I said, we're going to answer the question, is Maine boring? Of course it's not, but we'll talk about a few things that make it not boring. We sometimes, get the question, people who don't know, it's like, what is there to do there? You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot to do there in Maine, blah, blah, blah. So we're just going to stomp that down and kind of talk about how awesome Maine is. Let me put on my trusty glasses so I can talk about a few things. So anyway, the first thing I want to talk about is the great outdoors. We've talked a lot about Maine, a lot of great things to do outside. Maine is absolutely beautiful. There's tons of trails. Get outside in Maine and you're going to have a blast. You got the coast, you got the waterfront, you got trails through the woods, you got great mountains to hike. It's just an awesome place. So get outside, enjoy it. Next up is cultural and historical attractions. We did some great videos when Maine turned 200. I highly recommend checking that one out. It talks a lot about the history of Maine. So you could spend like a whole vacation just checking out some awesome historical attractions here in Maine. We did some great videos about haunted places here in Maine, which is really cool. So I would definitely check out the cultural and historical attractions here in Maine. So next up, I got unique cuisine. We've talked a lot about this. Portland, Maine has been written up, in a lot of national magazines, worldwide magazines, about how awesome the food is. And it really is awesome. A lot of it is very unique because of the seafood that we have here. But the food here is just spectacular. That is like, if you don't live here and you're looking to vacation here in the Portland area or just somewhere in Maine, I highly recommend hitting up Portland. Go to a few great restaurants. It's really impressive. It really is. Like when we travel other areas of the country, we'll have like friends and family take us out to like the best restaurant in the area or whatever, and we'll eat it and it's good and all that stuff, but we're kind of like, it doesn't touch Portland. So it really is awesome. So really just some great cuisine here in Maine. Next up is festivals and events. Just lots of great stuff and all year long. Summer events, spring, fall, winter, there's just events constantly. It really shows off all the seasons in Maine. So keep an eye on events. Obviously, a lot of the great events are in the summertime in most towns and cities in Maine, but there's always something going on. Great stuff, and highly recommend it. Especially the smaller communities are great because, the people in these smaller communities really put their heart and soul into these events, and they're just really cool. So definitely check all those out. Festivals and events are awesome here in Maine. Last but not least, winter activities. If you watch this channel at all, I love winter, mostly because I'm a hockey and ice skating guy, but there's tons of other winter activities, like skiing is big here in Maine, whether it's downhill or cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, just hiking in the winter. There's all sorts of great stuff to do in the winter, and Maine is just awesome. I mean, we get a lot of snow here, especially inland, and it's really, winter can be just a magical time here in Maine. So winter activities are awesome. So everything's not just perfect in the summertime. Winter is awesome, and other seasons as well. Hey, hopefully this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, comment below. If you have any questions, let me know what you think about Maine being boring or not boring. I'd love to hear it. Hit us up in any way you want. And remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and one of these buttons over here. You get a lot of great information about real estate, the state of Maine, cool things to do, all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you have any questions at any time, comment below or hit us up on all social media platforms, and we'd love to help you out. And we love talking about Maine and real estate in Maine.